Hello viewers, welcome to the YouTube channel and I'm your host Sushil Shalot. At this channel you have been viewing a lot of informative and worthy videos. I'm here with the next video and in this video I'm going to cover a very general and very much popular topic, that is errors in Excel. Day in and day out we all face errors in Excel and at times it is very frustrating and annoying. Let us look into these errors which are most common, try to understand why this error come up and try to find out ways to avoid them. So the first error what we most oftenly see is in the cells we see the hatches and instead of the values these hatches are very annoying. Why do this happen? The reason here being that the cell width is not sufficient and the characters exceed the cell width, and that's why we see all the hatches. The next one what we always see or many times happen to see is when we divide any number by 0, the division turns out to be very erroneous and it returns this error. So for example, let me do here average. So the cell value divided by the number of days should give or return the value of the average. And when I pull down this function or the formula here, the last one what we see is 17,500 divided by 0 returns the error hash div oblique 0 exclamation. The reason being very obvious, anything divided by 0 is going to return a error. Well, the next one is not available. Here I'm going to apply a function VLOOKUP. Most of us know how to use the VLOOKUP function, so I won't be explaining the arguments. I'll just go on to the VLOOKUP function. In VLOOKUP, what I'm going to search is the cell B3 and B4 onwards all. So subsequently, I'm going to pull down this function or this formula what the array is here. So I'm going to search in this array. I'm going to log this with function F4. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the second column from this array that will return the sales day. So I'm going to say 2, and last but not the least I can choose the true value or the exact match value. So I'm going to choose 0, that is the false. It will return me the exact value, and there it is. As expected, the sales day has been returned. I'm pulling down this function, and as soon as I do it, the last cell returns me the error not available. The reason being that the cell value is not available in the cell B7, and that's why the sales day, though we see 12 there, the value of sales day is an error here. So why does this error happen? The reason is very obvious. Let me tell you that the lookup value is not found. So anywhere the value which has to return, or it has searched, or it has to reference, or it has to give us the output, and it cannot give, Excel gives the error as a outcome. The next one is the name. So how does this happen? It's quite obvious. I have already done here, and if you are very sharp enough, you must have noticed why this error has popped up. Let me do it here again. So I'm going to do here the sum of the sale days, and I'm going to write SUME, and I'm going to close parenthesis, open parenthesis, and choose this range. So as soon as I choose this range and close the parenthesis and say enter, it is returning me the error name. The reason being that quite obvious, the function name has been typed wrong, and so it does not have that function to refer to. Hell, so well, functions and formula name is wrong. As a result, the error of name is appearing here. Friends, let's get on to the next one. The next one is null. So if I click here, quite obvious, if you are sharp enough, you must have seen it. If you are not sharp, let me give a demo here. I will do the sum of the sales day as I have done it earlier. So here now I'm going to type sum, correct text of the function. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the cell C3, then C4, and then the next one is C5. So I have chosen all the three cells which I need to sum up, and I'm going to say enter. Oh, it is giving the error as null. By now you must have guessed what it is. Let me tell you the reason, and even after that if you don't understand I'll explain you. So incorrect separators and operands used lead to this error. So if I go over here and choose to see what it was, here it is. So pay your attention over here. If you see the sum C2, C3, C4, the cell's context or the cell reference have been separated out with a space and not a comma. This is an error, and that's why it returns the error null. And in the earlier cell, what was that? Let us go to the earlier cell and have a look at that also. In this case, what was it? So the sum A2 to A4. Well, this range should have been properly written and it has not been properly written with the proper operand, and so the error null has popped up. The next one is the numeric value. Well, if you see here, this is 10 raised to 3. The sales day here is 1000. Sales per day is 2. So it's quite obvious the cell is quite easy. So I'm going to multiply this cell with the cell value over here in C3 and it's 2000. Well, if this cell value goes on picking up, what happens? If it becomes 4 or 5, quite obvious it has gone to 200,000. And here friends, I have used a function len that gives back or returns the length of the string in cell C3, that is over here. So as you see, there are 6 characters and so the length here is seen as 6. Now I'm going to do a little bit of jugglery here. Now I'm going to write 5, 6, 7, a huge value, and as soon as I do it, you see the sales day value has returned an error hatch num exclamation. Same with the cell value and same with the length value. So if you go here and see, this is giving error, this is giving an error. So 10 raised to 567 gives an error, 10 raised to 56, whereas does not give error, and the length of this value or this cell C3 is shown as 5 characters, 1 E plus 5, 6. So if we count it, it's quite 5 obvious. And as soon as I go from 56 to 56 to 567, the error pops up. Well, so what is it? So if I copy this function down, it's quite obvious. It is giving the product quite well. So 30 into 3 is 90 and 10 into 4 is 40. So there is no problem with the function. The problem is something else. Let us have a look at what it is. And the problem here is invalid numeric data. So there is a limitation of this calculation, and that is the reason why it has popped up. So if I go over here and use a calculator here, right? So what was this value? The value here was 10 raised to 567, and if I go to the calculator, 10 raised to 567, it returns the value 1.e raised to 567. That means nothing else but 10 raised to 567. So well, if I take this value, if I copy this value, and if I put it here in this cell here as a text, there it is, the value remains there itself. So it is not a problem of the text, but it is a problem of the numeric value or numeric data that Excel can take up. What next? Let us go to the next error, that is reference. Now what happens here is, it's quite simple and obvious. I'll go here and I'll explain you what is the context here. I have done is equal to sum of cells B2, B3, B4 and B5. I can either do it like this or I can do it with the range. So if I use the range here, I'm going to choose it from over here B2 to B5, close parenthesis and say enter. It gives me the same value, 72,000, quite obvious, nothing wrong. But well, if by mistake or for some reason I happen to delete this row over here, row number 3, what happens? It gives me an error of reference here. Got it? In the first case, it did not give the reference error because still the range happens to be B2 to B4. Whereas over here, when we refer to the cell that was earlier C3 and now it has been deleted and the C4 cell has got converted into C3. So this is how the reference error appears when reference is deleted or not found. Whereas over here in this case, being a range, it does not create any kind of issue. Well, if I go to Control Z and again I go back Control Z, and there it is, the sum was B2, B3, B4 and B5. And now if I go back and delete this row, it will return the reference error, and there it is. So reference is deleted or not found, and that is the reason why the error popped up into the corresponding cells. The next error what we often see is an error of value. How does it pop up? Well, quite obvious. What is average? Average is nothing else but the total sale divided by the sales day. Isn't that logical? Yes, it is. And so what I have done here is I have done is equal to sale divided by sales day. Isn't it? Is it not correct? No, friends, it's not correct. Why? Because I have referenced here the value B2 cell and C2 cell, which are text cells, and I am expecting a operand division to be operated there, and a text value cannot be divided by a text value, and that's why it returned a error value. Well, will it work with something like if I go over here and make it B3? Well, no. Again, the error continues. The reason being that I am dividing a numeric value with a text value. And that's why it is returning error. Let us go and have a look. What is this error and why it pops up? So the wrong type of function argument is used, and as a result, the value error pops up. I am giving you a very simple example so that you understand it. In many complex functions, these errors are quite often appearing, and then you have to track out or trace the reason why these errors come up. Well, you can track it only if you know the reason why these errors are popping up. And I am making you aware of this reason. I'm educating you with the reasons why these errors are popping up. So the wrong type of function argument is used here, and as a result, I'm getting the value error. The next one is the Excel limit. Now friends, this is not really an error, but this is a limitation of Excel. But well, and it does not give any kind of error message on our screen. What is it? So now I'm going to remove this. What you are seeing there, the sales day is 1.23457 e raised to 17. Well, that is quite a big number. Well, I just delete it and I write a number here. Say sales day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now in all, if you see, there are 18 digits in this cell, which are quite obvious and very much seen on your screen. 18 digits are there. As soon as I enter, I see 1.23 blah 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 blah. Quite obvious. So here I'm going to use again the len function. Let's say enter. So there it is. It gives me the 18 characters. As I had keyed in the 18 characters, you were the witness, you have seen the value was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, is it the same? Let us go over here and have a look. So I'm going to go over here and have a look at the area here, which I am marking for you to have a better look. Well, friends, there is something fishy. What is this fishy program? Let me highlight it to you. So last three digits here are seen as 000. So friends, let me bring to your notice, Excel has got a limitation. There are quite a few. I am just pointing out one of them. And the limitation here is in a given cell. I am using Excel variant, which is quite recent. Even in the older versions, these errors were there, and there are many more in the present variant also. So this is one of it. So the last three characters here, which are beyond the 15th character, are returned as 000. Though you can see the length characters here are 18, the last three characters or digits are seen as 0. So this is a limitation of Excel, and well, you cannot escape it. It is inherent with Excel. Well, quite obvious. With this, I have brought to your notice about 10 odd errors which appear most commonly in Excel, and I have listed those here. I have made the error as well as the meaning. If you are interested, you can visit this video a couple of times and see this page till the time you absorb and grasp the errors and their meanings. Well, friends, now I go to the next part of this video. I am going to try and explain you how few of these errors can be eliminated, and few will certainly continue to pop up, but well, you should be aware what those errors are coming, and then you should take remedial action in your corresponding context. Well, let us go from the beginning. So here the first one was because of the cell width. So it's quite obvious that if we change the cell width, if we make it sufficiently wide, it will work. So either you go over here where I am highlighting right now. So I'm choosing the divider between column B and C and double clicking it. As soon as double click, the error goes away. The cell width has expanded to the sufficient width. The next one is division by 0. Well, this will continue to remain till the time this cell here will have a 0 value in it. So if I put a value 2, this will go away. Well, if it is obvious that it has to continue to remain 0, this error or average as infinity will convert into a error as division error with 0. There is no remedy for this, but well, you should be aware why it has come up. The next one is not available. So quite obvious when this not available comes, it is a kind of error that helps the user to find out the value that I was searching in this cell B6 cannot be found. Well, if it happens to be say 2000 for example or 200 or 2000 whatever it is, there it is. Immediately the sales value has popped up. So if at all anytime you find out the error not available, you should be quite obvious that either the cell is empty or the cell is having a value that is something different that is not being searched. Well, if I go over here and say if I'm searching for a value say 2000 and say enter, it is saying not. So if even now if I put here 200, the error will continue as not available. So now with this example, you must understood why this null available error is coming up and how it is helpful in this case of VLOOKUP. Well, so either you go over here and see if it is not available, that means the value that we are searching is not over here. And if I convert it to 2000, the error should go away. So any other value other than 2000 should return me an error. There it is. So now quite obvious this error is helpful for us in the context of VLOOKUP. Well, the next one was name error. Quite obvious, quite sensible. Whenever you're typing any kind of function name, make it a point that you don't type it wrong. So it is only a care and negligence to be avoided, care to be taken by the user so that this error will not come up. The next one is null. Well, this has come up because as I said, the values over here are not correctly keyed in. So if at all I have to have it correctly, I should put a colon here so that the range is defined for the sum. So the proper separators, proper operands are to be used to find out the correct values. So here the commas are missing. So I'm going to add up the commas so that the values over here don't mess up or don't return the error. So there it is. After I have written the sum, it has entered the correct value with this commas. It has entered it. Either I could have given the commas or I could have added the operand of plus. It is one and the same. Fine. Okay. So this is quite clear how to clear the null function or the null error. I shouldn't say function, the error. The numeric error here appears because, as I said, the values are exceeding the capacity and capabilities of Excel calculation. There may be some other reasons also for the num error. Whenever the invalid numeric data is keyed in, it is going to return you this error. So be cautious. Do not enter numeric values which are invalid. Fine. The next one is the reference is deleted. So be wise. Wherever possible, use the ranges as I gave you the example over here. By using the colon, I have converted the cells mentioned into a cell range. You can use multiple ranges as and where required. So this is one way of not eliminating actually, but reducing this error wherever possible. Next one was value, and it's quite obvious as I said, the numeric value should be keyed in. So here it should have been say B2 divided by C2. And yes, the error goes when you choose the correct numeric values. So if you want to avoid the value error, make it a point that you choose the correct function argument and give a proper input to Excel. And the Excel limit are the limits of Excel inherent. So I will expect you to be aware of these limitations of the Excel, whatever version you are using, be aware of that version and then go ahead. Fine. So with this, I explained you the errors, the meaning of the errors, the reasons why the errors are popping up, and how these errors can be eliminated or avoided wherever possible. Friends, I'm coming to the closure of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to me. I hope you have learned a lot in this video, which probably you were aware to some extent and maybe at times were aware in parts and pieces, but now it is in totality that I have brought to your notice what errors come up in Excel and how to avoid it. So do make use of this video in a proper way in your applications and avoid creating errors or getting into mess of errors. Do like this video and share it with your friends who require to watch this video. And well, if you are new or if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, I would insist and recommend choosing to subscribe this channel is a very wise decision. Do take the decision right away so that you will be kept updated with the new videos those are popping up on this channel every now and then, which are quite worthy. Take my word. I'll be soon back with my new video, an interesting topic, a useful topic for us. Till then, I should say bye, take care.